Hello everyone and welcome to the video. I'm Emmanuel, I am an airline pilot, and today we'll have a second look at the World Update 10 United States of America. So today we are going to have a look at San Diego and Seattle, which are probably the two most prominent cities included in the new update. And we'll also have a quick look at some of the airports that have been added to Microsoft Flight Simulator with the update. So we'll start making a quick way through San Diego over here, following the highways towards downtown, and then we'll have a quick look at the naval harbor. You can see weather isn't quite as good today as it used to be yesterday when we had a look at Key Largo, but nonetheless. So overall, the quality of buildings is as expected in a photogrammetric update, really. There are no big surprises coming with this. I do have a feeling that in downtown the building quality is quite a bit better than it is in the outskirts, like you can see in the streets and buildings over here. Overall, as I've said in my How to Get Your Performance Back video, I know that quite some of you have quite some issues with the photogrammetry in this area. So if you are mainly an airline pilot and you mainly care about flying in and out of San Diego Airport, then I would probably recommend you to turn the photogrammetry off altogether, because by default the city also looks pretty good. And if you are mainly sitting in your airliners here, then there is probably no sense using this photogrammetric area. But if you are a helicopter pilot, if you're flying small aircraft, or if you just want to enjoy it, then of course you are very welcome to actually use the photogrammetry. This is what it looks like. Overall, I tend to say it is looking fairly good with the known issues of the photogrammetric sceneries. Now the airport you're seeing over here, San Diego Airport, is an add-on by Latin VFR, so if the scenery close to it, like over here, looks a little bit better, don't be surprised. But I wanted to use the opportunity to show you what it would actually look like when you are going here and have Latin VFR San Diego enabled. Also, I was using this as a little performance test. As I've told you in my Getting Back Your Performance video, on my personal machine I don't have any FPS issues with the photogrammetric scenery over here, but I know that some of you have, but this just serves to show you that my system is running smooth with both of them combined. So getting over to downtown, as I told you, the quality of the buildings over here, of the skyscrapers, is actually quite a bit better than it is in some other areas. But that changes quickly when we have a look at the harbor. Now the aircraft carrier down here, by the way, is fully usable, so if you just want to have a little bit of fun with your F-18, then you can definitely do so. And as said, as soon as we approach the harbor area down here, quality of everything is slightly deteriorating again. So we'll quickly have a look over here, getting close up to the skyscrapers, because that is certainly the most prominent feature of all. You can see buildings like the Marriott here are actually of pretty good quality, of course with the occasional mix of not so good quality like what we just saw flying down here. So again, if you see me do this, don't do it at home. You're risking your pilot's license, and if you do it nonetheless, at least be sure to include to bring your GoPro along, because that's probably going to be your only way of income. By the way, as you just saw, you can actually fly through these buildings. So, if anybody of you is No, I don't want to say that. At least I don't want to use that term. But if anybody of you is crazy enough to take your extra 300 or the F-18 and go low level through the streets, then at least you now know that you have no way of detecting if you've actually rammed the building or not. Okay, I see a helipad on the building there. I have a feeling it's not going to be usable, but I want to try that. The stadium is looking pretty good, by the way. That is definitely above the average quality of the buildings we're seeing over here. So, where's my helipad? I think I should be right above it. Yeah. Ooh. So, typical high quality buildings over here, but only the highest quality, as you would expect from Microsoft. Oh, come on, FS Realistic is acting up a little bit here. Sorry, guys. Oh, we can actually land on it. That's nice. Now, if this only was a little bit better quality, then... oh well. But it's good to see that we can actually land on this, while on other buildings we could fly through it. Not that you would particularly want to land on this. Seeing the high qualities of the buildings. Doesn't matter. Let's quickly go on to the naval installations, because that is the last part I want to show you of San Diego. I think then we've seen the main features of the scenery. Getting over into the harbor area, it's always nice to see those containers and everything in 3D. It just adds to the low-level flying experience, doesn't it? Alright, here we go. So that's one point, well, that you're... what is that truck doing down there? That one? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Nice way. Is that the new stealth ship? Like, put a couple of trees on it, maybe they're gonna believe me? Right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? When they see a big tree cruising around? Alright, so that's what it looks like from close up. Now, let's put ourselves on full afterburner and we'll head over to Seattle, have a look at what Seattle looks like. Come and join me. Alright everyone, we are back out of hyperspace, made it all the way to Seattle, and currently we're heading towards Boeing Field. On the right hand side there is Renton, over there, where they are building the 737s. And first thing I noticed when I came here is that the frame rate is actually a little bit worse than it used to be in San Diego. Now that's probably expected. The area around here is quite a bit larger, more airports, which means more details for the simulator to show. The second thing I noticed though is that everything just seems flat in front of the city over there. So it does seem like the simulator takes a little while to build up the terrain over here. That is probably not looking that good, I have to say. But let's see what it's going to look like when we get up closer. Trying to look around, you can see some microstarters over here in the area. I did not have these in San Diego. Right, here we are again, getting a little bit closer after all. So I think we'll start getting over to the harbor over here. Again, compared to what we saw in San Diego, I have a feeling that the quality is overall... it's getting better as we're getting closer, but when viewed from the distance, this really looked a little interesting, to put it that way. Now when we're up close like we are now, then all of a sudden, I have to say that it starts looking fairly good. I was just about to say that it doesn't look good, but now that we are up close, it is. But just see how close we have to get in order for things to change shape over here. That is maybe good for some static imageries you want to take, but if you actually want to enjoy the scenery in the simulator, then there is a little way to go for Microsoft and Asobo to improve this. What's this? Is that a two-dimensional container ship with all the containers in the water? Okay. Well. Right, so we start getting up to the more important part of the city. They don't have a lot to do in the harbor here, it seems. Not a lot of containers. So let's get up to downtown. This time, by the way, I'll consciously avoid going into the buildings. So if it happens this time, then it's due to lack of piloting skills, rather than curiosity, trying to find out if I can or cannot. Right, so building quality overall, I would say it's alright, but you know, when you are really going close up for some search and rescue, police helicopter missions and the like, then you would probably want a little bit higher quality. But then again, keeping in mind that this is actually provided to us for free, I have to say that it does really look amazing. I've said it yesterday already on the Key Largo video, that if I'm complaining about things not looking very good here, then that is complaining on a pretty high level. Now, I'm German, so I have to complain about something, otherwise things would just not be complete. And however, if a scenery like this would have been sold for previous flight simulators like P3D or FSX, then I'm sure that I would have said that the scenery looks absolutely amazing. Right, by the way, Space Needle does not seem to be one of the automatic generated photogrammetry objects here, but that's actually a custom model. So overall, quality is pretty much like we would have expected from a photogrammetry. It's nothing special, at least not for Microsoft Flight Simulator standards, but it's definitely not looking bad either. Now, let's actually go ahead and climb up to a higher level a little bit to see what it looks like when viewed from a little higher altitude. Many of you are probably going to see this from about 3,000 feet going into Seattle-Tacoma Airport. So let's actually go up there and see what it's going to look like then. By the way, the aircraft you see me flying is the High Performance Group H145 helicopter, flying in the luxury variant right here, right now. And it's really nice helicopter, good system depth, and it's using the GTN 750 for navigation. So overall that is really recommendable, fun little aircraft to fly. It features both a realistic as well as a more arcadey mode, which, according to the developer, then makes it suitable both for consoles as well as for PC flying. For somebody who's not exactly a helicopter expert like me, this thing is a lot of fun to fly. Right, so looking from a little bit of an altitude over here, this is probably how you would see Seattle when you're approaching Seattle-Tacoma Airport, which is right in the back over there. So I do have to say, from up here it is looking pretty amazing. So seeing that this is more or less a default simulator right now, and this being your view when you are approaching in an airliner, I have to say that this is pretty amazing. So after all, the performance is a little bit worse on my particular machine than it is in San Diego, which is expected due to the area just being much larger. After all, my personal conclusion on the World Update photogrammetric sceneries is that they're a very nice addition to the overall scenery, they're a nice addition to the immersion. Of course, being photogrammetric, there's quite a way up, but I think we all know about that already. So after all, this makes for a very pleasant experience. I'm glad Microsoft is actually providing these. Now, we've looked at the photogrammetric sceneries. Let's just head over and check out some of the airports, shall we? So, oh boy, I definitely want to be gone before this weather is arriving over here. So, let's put on the hyperdrive, back into hyperspace, and let's head over to Catalina Island, shall we? And here we are on base to Catalina Island Airport. Now, this is a very, very well chosen airport for a world update, because it provides a very challenging approach over some spectacular terrain. Now, why do I say challenging approach? That's because you're flying uphill either sides of the runway, and that comes with some very special challenges. Like, it's difficult to judge if your height to the airport is correct because of the rising terrain that can actually lead you to come in high or low, depending on whether you're flying on upsloping or downsloping terrain. The airport is built by Gaia Simulations, the same developers that have done some of the other World Update airports, as well as some of the famous RPEX sold airports like Berlin, Tegel or Vienna. So, well-established developers, known for their quality for years and years already. So Catalina is just a short hop out of the Los Angeles area. So if you have an aircraft in Van Nuys or similar places, then it's just a short hop away. Provides for some very cool tours over here, and this runway isn't too long, so you probably don't want to pick your citation jet or something when you come here. But it's perfectly suited for your single-engine piston aircraft or for your helicopters. First impression on the airport, runway is of good quality, as you would expect from Gaia. So is the apron and the buildings. And so are my scratched undercarriage. Let's quickly head over to the apron and have a look at the terminal building as well here. Overall, I'd say this is typical high quality Gaia. So, if you've flown to any other of the Gaia simulation airports, then this is probably exactly what you're used to already. Let's put our helicopter down here for a second and head out to the drone camera.
Easy does it.
Let's head to the drone camera. So, here we are. Quick look at the airport, the area around it. That's looking nice, isn't it? That's Gaia scenery, and what was that? Oh, looks like you can't actually go underneath it with a drone. Ah, landing fees. Alright, that's the area we want to avoid then. But overall, really good modeling done over here. Even in the areas where that you do not typically see from the airport. Let's see if we can go here. No, you can't. Okay. But that's some really good modeling on the rooftops here. And since the airport is located in such a remote area, I tend to say that this is actually... Oh, I want to show you the inside, but looks like I cannot. Right, but as you can see, splendid modeling over here. Very well done. And now take it from the mouth of a German. Nothing I can complain about. You know what that means. Alright, so let's quickly head over to the hangar. Over here it says the airport in the sky. Runway length is just about 3,000 feet and an elevation of 1,600 feet. And that's exactly what I meant when I told you that this is a challenging airport to fly into, because you're flying over rising terrain so for the final approach. And then of course keep in mind this is the Los Angeles area, so if you are getting high temperatures here of around 30 degrees centigrade maybe in summer, then your single engine piston might already start getting performance limited, which could create some very interesting conditions for you when practicing at this airport. By the way, I really like how the airport fence is done here, or rather the holes in the airport fence. No, nothing on the left, nothing on the right. Let's go ahead and quickly have a look at the other side of the airport. Cessna Caravan, Kenmore Air. Are they supposed to be this close to Los Angeles? I always thought they'd be a little bit more northerly into the Seattle region. And boy, those clothings are gonna become hot. Can we do something here? No. Too bad. For a second I hoped we could maybe start the plane up. Ah, yeah. So, overall, well done. And this shall actually conclude our look at the World Update 10. Now, I have to say, overall, it is a classical World Update as expected from Microsoft. The quality is up to the others, and there are some great areas included, some great sightseeing tours possible, some great airports. The only thing that I would have liked to see is maybe an airport or at least a helipad close to the sceneries that are covered in a photogrammetry. So if there was an airport in San Diego, one in Seattle, even just a small one, that would have been nice. However, Microsoft decided to do some of the more challenging airports, and overall we have to say that there are plenty of places from which you can depart. There are even some freeware sceneries available, which cover the areas. So after all, good looking World Update, and welcome to try it out. Now, if you do try it out and you encounter some performance issues, I've done a separate video on these. But that mainly applies if you're flying airliners. If you're flying small aircraft, then you probably don't want to turn photogrammetry off, so then it might be a good idea to have a look at some of your other settings, see if you can adjust something. On my personal computer, the specs are included in the system description. It's running a pretty good performance. So, after all, I would say, well-rounded update, happy to have it, and especially happy to have it for free. Keep going with the series, Microsoft. I'm looking forward to see what you are going to provide in the future. Until then, thank you for joining me, and I'm wishing you all a great and excellent day.